So in this video, I want to talk about the news that broke today that 20 senators, including 10 Republicans, have struck a deal on a new gun control bill, which may get past the 60 votes in the Senate. So let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you think we don't need more gun control, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Also, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI is an accredited online college that helps students learn the skills and techniques they'll need to be successful in the firearms industry. So if you enjoy gun repair, ballistics, and learning about firearms, SDI might be a good option for you. To find out more about SDI, you can visit the website linked down below. And thank you again, SDI, for sponsoring this video. So I guess in the intro, news broke today that 20 senators, including 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans, have come up with a new bipartisan gun control deal. This bipartisan deal on gun control is being expressly performed with the goal of getting this piece of legislation through both the House and the Senate. So I know sometimes we talk about proposed bills that always pass the House, but inevitably they die in the Senate because they can't get the 60 votes to break the filibuster. However, this framework and gun control deal is being done with the express goal of getting it past the Senate. This gun control bill will include red flag law provisions, new gun dealer licensing provisions, an enhanced background check system, potentially, and waiting period for individuals under the age of 21. So let's talk about what's being mentioned and what's being proposed in this bipartisan deal. This morning, 20 senators joined together, 10 on each side, to announce the support for a bipartisan gun control deal. Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer stated that it's vowing to put this bill on the floor as soon as possible, and President Joe Biden said it would be the most significant gun safety legislation to pass Congress in decades, which is interesting because we don't even have the text of this bill yet, but he's already saying that he supports it and that this needs to get passed in both the House and the Senate. So what will be in this bipartisan gun control package? Well, it's stated that the package will be anchored around extra scrutiny for gun buyers under the age of 21, grants to states to implement so-called red flag laws, and new spending on mental health treatments and school security. So the compromise appears to be more funding for school security. That's what the Republicans are going to get back in return, while the Democrats are going to get red flag laws, restrictions on underage purchase of firearms, and potentially more. The most significant piece of this proposed gun control package would subject buyers under the age of 21 to more scrutiny of their criminal and mental health records that they may be obtained while they were juveniles. Indications are that this section of the bill has proven pretty much tricky to write because each state has different laws which govern juvenile records. So this has been kind of a sticking point, but they're still going to try to put this in this package. Chris Murphy stated on this bill on his Twitter that they will include enhanced background checks for under 21 gun buyers and a short pause to conduct those checks. Young buyers can get the gun only after the enhanced check is completed. So to me, this sounds like a deeper dive into a youth's background, including those juvenile records, but also a mandatory waiting period to be performed so that those enhanced background checks can be run. So again, it sounds like a more comprehensive background check for anyone under the age of 21 who's purchasing firearms, but also maybe a waiting period as well. In this bipartisan bill, there will also be a red flag law provision. Senator Chris Murphy on his Twitter also stated that this bill will include major funding to help states pass and implement crisis intervention orders, which are essentially red flag laws, that will allow law enforcement to temporarily take dangerous weapons away from people who pose a danger to others or themselves. This is simply a giant carrot that the federal government will hold out to various states. They will say if a state passes their own red flag laws and enforces them, then the federal government will give them a ton of grants and a ton of money. The hope is that this money is enough to incentivize these states to implement their own state-level red flag laws. He also stated on his Twitter that they aim to close the boyfriend loophole in this bill. That means at a national level, they will expand who can get hit with a red flag law or get red flagged, and what type of partners may potentially have their firearms confiscated without due process. Another thing they claim that they want to include in this package is it aims to crack down on straw purchases and also illegal unlicensed firearms dealers. Senator Murphy stated that the bill will include clarification of the laws regarding who needs to register as a licensed gun dealer to make sure all truly commercial sellers are doing background checks. To me, this section sounds like they will expand FFL licensing requirements to dealers and gun manufacturers of so-called ghost guns, We've seen that the ATF implemented their new rule on frames and receivers, which targets 80%ers or so-called ghost guns. That will go into effect in August. This section sounds like it's going to codify in a legislative process that FFL licensing that's being expanded to anyone who manufactures or sells these 80%ers. Now, I do want to emphasize that as of right now, we do not have the text of this bill. Instead, this is an agreement on provisions and frameworks in principle. The text of the legislation is stated to be coming really soon. However, as of right now, the belief is that this piece of legislation, this framework and principles, will get the required 60 votes they need on the Senate floor, and that it will also pass the House. In a statement on the agreement, the 20 senators stated that our plan saves lives while also protecting the constitutional rights of law-abiding Americans. We look forward to earning broad, bipartisan support and passing our common sense proposal into law. Now, you may be asking yourself at this point, who are the 10 Republican traitors who have joined with the Democrats to push this gun control package? Well, the 10 Republicans are led by John Cornyn out of Texas and Tom Tillis out of North Carolina. And then they are joined by 8 other Republicans, including Susan Collins out of Maine, Bill Cassidy out of Louisiana, Lindsey Graham out of South Carolina, Pat Toomey out of Pennsylvania, Roy Blunt out of Missouri, Richard Burr out of North Carolina, Rob Portman out of Ohio, and Mitt Romney out of Utah. Now, while this announcement is claiming to be a major step forward, putting this framework and provisions into an actual bill and text will likely prove challenging, especially because right now all these concepts are just being agreed to on principle, but once there is actual text, maybe some of these Republicans will fall off. However, in my opinion, even support on principles like this shows their true colors. Republicans should not be coming to the table to compromise on any of these provisions or frameworks, even if it's not actually agreement on the text as of right now. They shouldn't be agreeing on the principles, provisions, and framework. Now, one good thing I will say about this and all the provisions that have been mentioned is that there is not going to be any sweeping bans. Democrats would have preferred to have expanded background checks and maybe a ban on so-called assault rifles, but they were never going to get the vote they needed in the Senate. They could never get the 60 votes they would need to get those broad sweeping bans passed in the Senate. So right now, they're just going to take whatever they can get from these so-called Republicans. So that is where we stand right now. Once we get the text of the bill, I will definitely update you all. Right now, the most important thing you can do is contact your representatives in the House and the Senate. Let them know that you oppose this bipartisan package. Call them, email them, hit them up on their social media accounts on Instagram, on Twitter. And right now, just let them know that you oppose this bill and that you will not support them. You will not vote for them if they support or vote in favor of this bipartisan package that's being proposed. One last thing I want to mention before I end this video is that this week on Monday and Wednesday, the Supreme Court will be releasing more opinions. Currently, we are waiting for the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin concealed carry decision out of the Supreme Court. Keep an eye out on the channel because if the decision is released this week, either on Monday or Wednesday, I will let you all know as soon as possible. I will put out a video kind of just announcing it, and then later I will put a more comprehensive breakdown of the opinion up on the channel. So just keep an eye out for that. I know a lot of you guys asked me about when the next opinion days are, and we are going to have 2 more Supreme Court opinion days this Monday and Wednesday. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below, and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel algorithm. It adds fuel to his jet, and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos in this type of two-way news. Again, I want to thank everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, who hits the notification bell, who shares these videos. You guys are directly impacting these videos, impacting this channel, and helping me to reach and educate more people than I could ever do on my own. So again, thank you so much for all of your support. And as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.